This is Indie Book Publishing. Indie Book Publishing is a show about new books and the authors who wrote them. It's an opportunity for prospective readers to hear directly from the writers, to hear what inspired them to write and publish, and to hear all the inside details about their books. And now, Indie Book Publishing with your host, Steve Jorgensen.
The title of the book, Today's Note to Self. Nature's Secrets to Living an Extraordinary Life. And the author is Dr. Geraldine Teggelove. And Dr. Teggelove joins us now on Indie Book Publishing. This interview brought to you by Balboa Press. Hello, Geraldine.
Good morning, Steve. Oh, well, I shouldn't say good morning, should I? But here in Melbourne, Australia, it's just a little after 7 a.m.
The next day, I think.
Yes, it is.
I'm talking to you in the future, if that makes any sense to people.
The future's looking fabulous from where I'm sitting.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, let me read a couple of things you've written about Today's Note to Self. This very unique book with simple photos and messages of precious moments in time. And that's a key thing. And as you put it, guided by the Spirit as Mother Nature goes about her business for the day. And you ask, how often do we actually stop to see the tiniest, most spectacular gifts of nature that surround us in every moment of every day, the gifts that hold the most magical lessons in truth? And I guess that's the key to your book. It's to kind of capture the moment, isn't it, out in nature, and to just kind of drink that in?
It certainly is, Steve. Sometimes we just get so caught up in the busyness of life, and even when we're out exercising, we're focused still on what was happening throughout the day or what has to happen today, and we forget to take the time to just take a look around us, I guess, and see what is there in that moment.
Yes, someone said, smell the roses along the way.
Most definitely. A good idea.
Well, tell us about yourself, your background and how you got involved in metaphysics, and you're a spiritual mentor, healer. How did this all come about, and what was the motivation to publish this book?
Oh, my goodness, Steve. Well, it probably, being a 62 or nearly 62-year-old, or should I say young 62-year-old, just a few years ago, I found myself standing in the middle of the rubble left from a complete and utter financial meltdown. My husband Bill and I lost everything, and a little bit more, I would have to say, and after sinking into depression and crying nearly 12 months of my life away, I woke up one morning and I made the decision that I just couldn't live like this any longer. And there had to be a way out of the mess, and I was going to find it no matter what, because I knew other people had done it before me. So I guess there began my journey of self-discovery through metaphysics and meditation and emotional healing and all those things. And I found that sitting still for me was just impossible. People used to tell me to meditate, and I'd think, you've got to be joking. I mean, I can't sit still for 5 seconds, let alone 5 minutes or something, because I found that was when all those negative thoughts would creep into my mind and begin to take over my life. But when I was out walking in nature, I was able to relax, and I guess my heart could breathe again. So this walk became my daily meditation, and I tuned out from all my so-called problems and gave myself the gift of living in the moment and allowing all of nature to lift me into that wonderful state of joy and happiness. And then I began to ask Nature Spirit to bring me the answers to all my questions, all my heart's yearnings, and how could I turn things around, and what did I need to grow within me for this to happen? And what did I need to change in my beliefs and my perceptions of life? And thank goodness Nature Spirits didn't let me down. and the messages began to flow. And they came slowly at first until I began to learn to listen to the guidance given. And I learned, I guess, to go in the direction that they guided me and to find the image that I needed to find to take in the little photo. And then from there I began to think that if these little notes were teaching and helping me to move into living the life that I thought was an absolute impossibility about 3 years ago, then maybe they could help other people as well. It took a while, but I finally became brave and courageous enough to share these through social media. And the response, I would have to say, was nothing short of amazing. It has grown so quickly, and I also began to base my keynote talks around today's note to self, and once again the response was wonderful. And people then began to say, well, Geraldine, where's the book? So, to make a long story short, Steve, I wrote the book, finally.
Wrote the book and also took the photos.
I took the photos. Now, please, Steve, you have to understand when you look at the photos, I'm not a photographer at all. I've got this iPhone. Oh, my goodness, technology is wonderful at times. I've got this iPhone, and I just carry it with me wherever I go and annoy my husband immensely sometimes when we're driving along the road, and I say, stop, I've got to take a photo.
There it is.
And I just take the image in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and then the message just drops in. Mm.
Well, you call them meditation-like observations captured in the field. So it is this walk in nature, this traveling down this road of nature, and you see something, and then you write some things about that. Tell us what these observations, this spiritual thoughts, what are those about?
Well, I believe that nature is the most wonderful teacher. The messages are simple, practical, and yet so profound. In fact, they're so simple, as we said before, that sometimes in the busyness of life we miss them altogether. But I find that if I stop in the moment and look at this particular image and ask the question, so what is this telling me? If I've been drawn to it, I've been drawn to it for a reason. And what exactly is the message that I need to learn today and allow that to become the focus of my life for today? And it kind of becomes then an affirmation for me. So I use that image to visualize what I'm meant to be doing, and I wait for the message to drop in, and it does, and then I say that as my affirmation for the day, and it just helps me to release what I need to release.
So this kind of process for the reader, seeing this beautiful nature's photo, kind of taking us there, that moment in time that you've captured, even with your iPhone.
Yes, even with my iPhone.
Just with your iPhone, but then some thoughts, and it just kind of gets us to stop for a moment. We see something, we read something, and it kind of, like you put it, transforms us.
It's certain. Well, it has for me anyway, Steve, and I'm sure it can transform other people's lives as well. It just, and I guess it's because it's not just a message or an affirmation. We can find affirmations anywhere and everywhere these days. We can Google affirmations for any particular thing. But I think the importance is that for that particular moment, if we can connect visually to this image, it helps helps to embed what we need to learn or to focus on for that day and in that moment right into the unconscious mind. And it's not just reading something, but it's visually seeing it, Steve. And I am a visual person, and it just gives people that opportunity to connect into what they need to learn at a different level, and it suits the way people connect to that, I guess. So they not only just hear an image, they see it visually, and I think you said earlier that a picture tells 1,000 words, really, and we can get into the feeling of what we're supposed to be doing that day.
Are there any special secrets or formulas to have these messages from nature work in our lives?
Just ask. Just live in the moment. And that's quite a difficult thing to do, particularly if we're going through some struggles and challenges. To put those aside, I guess give yourself the gift to put those aside just for a few moments, and then ask Spirit to guide you to what you need to focus on for the day. And then clear your mind for long enough by just taking in the beauty that's around you for that message to drop in. And it will